Bold predictions have reached chapter 33, which was my number in Little League before I just shaved it down to number 3 for marketing purposes in high school. Bold prediction number 1 tonight takes us to Knoxville, Tennessee. And that is from Tommy from Germantown, Tennessee, actually. What? Tommy, we need to hang out more, buddy. But Tommy says Tennessee goes 11-1 in the regular season. Tommy, this bold prediction gets an 8.75 on the boldness scale from me, which is your standard 1 to 10. Not on the metric system either. We're holdouts over here. It's bold. The over-under's 9.5 wins there. 11-1 was our best case. When we did our Tennessee prediction special, I think 11-1 was our best case scenario. So to give you an idea of their most competitive games from a point spread perspective, they go to Florida in week 3. They are currently a 7.5 point favorite. They have A&M later in the year after their bye week. They're favored by 7 at home against A&M. Some of you are surprised that line isn't bigger. Vegas is higher on Texas A&M than you are, kind of like the JP poll. At Alabama, they are a 9.5 point dog. Against Georgia at home, they're an 8.5 point dog. This just comes down to Joe Milton. I don't really know that we need to talk ourselves in circles. It comes down to Joe Milton because pretty much everything else on that team can be what it was last year if Joe Milton at quarterback is as productive or thereabouts as Hendon Hooker. 8.75 because I think it's really, really hard to do. You're trying to do even more than you did last year in many cases. Next up. This would cause some controversy. Cooper is in Lawton, Oklahoma. And Cooper said the Big 12 will only have one team with double-digit wins, and it's not going to be Texas. What a troublemaker. This is an 8.75 for me. Nobody has a double-digit win total out there, first off. So Texas has the highest over-under right now. They're at 9.5. Oklahoma, dead even. They're also at 9.5. Kansas State is at 8.5, and then you got TCU and Texas Tech at 7.5. So TCU did this very thing last year. TCU won double-digit games. Texas didn't. And that was it. Even Kansas State, the team that won the conference, they didn't win double-digit games until the conference title game. So we're talking about regular season games here, obviously. Who would it be? Well, I think obviously the answer is Oklahoma. If someone wins 10 or more out there and it's not Texas, Oklahoma's got to be, I think, the team, or the most likely team, because they beat Texas in the process, you would think. And outside of that, famously at this point, Oklahoma has like the most workable schedule in Big 12 history. They avoid most of the other high odds teams in the conference. And so schedule's on their side. At that point, the head-to-head win over Texas would be on their side. I'm still making this an 8.75. Mainly because I think Texas is really good this year. Next up, we're going all the way down the ACC rabbit hole here. We're just predicting the conference outcomes. Peter from Gainesville, Florida said Clemson will beat Miami in the ACC title game. Now, they play in the regular season, Peter. They play in week 8. So we're going to have a rematch, according to Peter, in the ACC title game. Clemson's going to win. This is a 9.5 on the boldness scale. Clemson has the best odds to win the conference. Miami has the 6th best odds to win the conference. Miami plays 5 of the top 7 odds teams in the ACC. Schedule's really tough. They also just play A&M out of conference for good measure. Peter, you're trying to predict the exact matchup. You got a big-time underdog story here in Miami making the game, and then you're predicting the winner. Frankly, if you can get that matchup, I would favor Clemson to win the game. It's getting the matchup that's the hard part. So I'm going to make that a 9.5 on the boldness scale. And lastly, and possibly the most creative bold prediction we've had so far this year, this is from Plano, Texas, and this is from Adam. And Adam said, I don't think you guys have done one like this before, but if you think about it, it's not crazy. The entire playoff will be made up of teams with the color red. I'm giving a pregnant pause so you can think about it. 4 of 4. 4 teams in the playoff, all of them with that base red. Well, he's right. Once you zoom in, it's not crazy. This is a crazy-looking graphic, though. So here we have all the teams whose primary color is red listed on the screen. And then you've got the rank. So you got the odds, basically, to win the championship. And these are just teams inside the top 16. They've got 9 of the top 16 teams in the preseason to win the title are red. Georgia, Ohio State, Bama, USC, Florida State, Oklahoma, Utah, Wisconsin, and you got A&M. Texas Tech's 21. I don't know that we should count Ole Miss, although they do have red, but I don't think that's their primary color. But more than half of the top 16 odds teams are red. So here's the problem. Can you get 4 of 4? We got to keep Michigan out completely. Clemson, Penn State, Washington, Oregon, LSU, those teams have to be shut out. They can't be in the playoff. We got to go 4 for 4. This has never happened in the playoff era, but getting 3 of the 4 has happened thrice. You know how rarely I use that word, but it's happened 3 times that you've gotten 75%. To get 100%, though, I'm going to make that a 9.5 on the boldness scale. I mean, there's some good teams that just have forsaken the color red for whatever reason. Really creative question there. A really creative prediction, though. I really respect the effort.